You have been in this situation before. Someone says something wrong, confidently wrong, aggressively wrong, and for a moment you feel the pull, the need to correct them, to prove it, to make them see what they are clearly missing, so you engage. And somehow you walk away feeling like you lost. That is not a coincidence. That is not bad luck. That is a trap. And you walked right into it. Machiavelli did not spend his career teaching men how to reason with fools. He spent it studying what happens to power when intelligent men respond the wrong way to the wrong people. Here is what he understood that almost no one teaches. Stupid people are not your problem. How you respond to them is. The intelligent man who loses his composure with a fool has just been defeated by someone beneath him, and every person in the room saw it happen. In this video, I am going to show you 7 specific things intelligent men do differently when dealing with fools. Not patience, not tolerance, not turning the other cheek. Strategy. Point 3 is where this gets uncomfortable, because it is about a weapon fools use that. You are probably handing them yourself without knowing it. And point 5, I will come back to this one, is the most dangerous thing a fool can do to a smart man. The worst part is you will not feel it happening until it has already worked. Stay with me. The first thing you need to understand is this. You are not dealing with someone who is mistaken. You are dealing with someone who is incapable of knowing they are mistaken. There is a psychological principle behind this. People with low competence consistently overestimate their own ability. The less they know, the more certain they are, because the knowledge required to recognize the gap is the exact knowledge they lack. Picture a man who has never read a single history book confidently telling a historian he is wrong, he is not lying. He genuinely cannot see the distance between where he stands and where the knowledge lives. This is why arguing your way to victory is impossible. You are playing chess. He thinks he is winning checkers. He will never understand the move you just made. Machiavelli built his entire political philosophy on this principle. He wrote, "Whoever desires to found a state and give it laws must start with assuming that all men are bad and ever ready to display their vicious nature." He did not write that out of bitterness. He wrote it as an operating rule. Design your strategy around what men actually are, not what you wish they were. The intelligent man's first adjustment is not emotional. It is tactical. You are not dealing with a rational opponent. You are dealing with a force of nature. You do not argue with weather. You prepare for it. But here is the problem most intelligent men run into immediately after realizing this. They still engage, not because they forgot, because of something more dangerous than ignorance. The second thing, and this is where most intelligent men destroy themselves, is this. The moment you engage, you become equal. Think about what happens when an argument breaks out in public. The people watching are not tracking every logical point. What they see is 2 people fighting, equally invested, equally unable to walk away. When an intelligent man argues visibly with a fool, the observer does not conclude the intelligent man is right. The observer concludes the fool was worth fighting. You elevated him with your own hands. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. What you appear to be in that argument is someone who can be baited. someone whose composure has a price. The fool does not need to win the argument. He only needs to get you into it. Every time you feel the urge to correct someone publicly, ask yourself one question. What does the audience see? Not, am I right? Not, will they understand? What does the audience see? If the answer is two people fighting, step back. Your credibility is not built by proving fools wrong. It is built by making it obvious you have better things to do than prove fools wrong. The person who cannot be dragged down cannot be beaten. Most people hear that and think, fine, I will just stay quiet. Go silent. That will solve it. It will not. Because silence done wrong is not a weapon. It is a wound. And the difference between the two is what point 3 is about. Stop, because most people hear this and think it means going quiet, being passive, letting things go. That is not what this is. Here's what silence actually does to a fool. When someone throws a provocation and expects a reaction and gets nothing, the dynamic shifts immediately. Their aggression lands on empty air, and something interesting happens. They have to deal with what they just said. It echoes back at them. A man who shouts into silence sounds louder than he intended. The general who does not respond to bait is not passive. He is forcing the enemy to commit without gaining intelligence. Every move the enemy makes is information. Every move the intelligent man withholds is protection. You have done this wrong before. Someone said something offensive. You stayed quiet to avoid conflict. That is avoidance. It reads differently. It shows on your face. What I am describing is colder. You say nothing because you have already assessed the situation, and it does not require your energy. The calculation is done. This person did not make the cut. That must show. Not aggression, not hurt, calculation. The fool reads a flinch as weakness. The fool reads nothing as something he cannot name. And what he cannot name, he cannot use. Silence is not surrender. In the hands of the right man, silence is the most expensive thing in the room. But here is what the fool does when silence stops working on you. He does not give up. He changes the field entirely. And if you do not see it coming, your advantage disappears. The fourth thing intelligent men understand is that fools do not fight fair, not because they are cruel, but because they cannot fight any other way. When someone cannot match you intellectually, they have two options: accept the loss or change the game. Fools always change the game. They escalate emotionally. They shift the subject. They attack your character instead of your argument. They repeat the same wrong thing louder until the room is so chaotic that your actual advantage, your intelligence, becomes useless. You cannot apply logic in a room on fire. That is the point. This is not a strategy they designed. It is instinct. A cornered animal bites randomly. The biting is not aimed. It is just dangerous. But here is what you need to know. The chaos itself is information. The moment a fool starts shifting tactics, escalating emotionally, or attacking things unrelated to the original point, that is the signal. You have already won. They know it. They are now playing a different game because the first one is over. Your job is not to follow them into that game. Watch the escalation. Do not match it. Let it peak and fall. The person who waits it out while staying level has demonstrated something to everyone watching that no argument could have proven. When someone loses control trying to control you, they have just told the room everything. You now know how to read the chaos, how to stay still while it peaks. But almost every man who masters that still falls for what comes next. Even men who know strategy. Even men who have studied this. Point 5 is the one they never see. Here's where almost everyone gets this wrong. People who know this material, who have studied strategy, who would tell you they understand power. Point 5. This is the one I told you about at the beginning. The most dangerous thing a fool can do to an intelligent man is not provoke him, it is make him doubt himself. This is the mechanism almost no one sees coming. The intelligent man's greatest strength is also his greatest vulnerability. He takes accuracy seriously. He reviews his own thinking. He questions himself when challenged. The fool has none of this. The fool is certain, completely, immovably certain. No evidence cracks it. And here's where the trap closes. When someone challenges you with total confidence and zero reasoning, your mind starts searching anyway. Did I miss something? Is there a version of this where they have a point? Am I being arrogant? The fool wins not by being right, but by making you spend your own energy proving you are right. You put your intelligence in service of his argument. You built the case against yourself and handed it to him. He did not have to work for it. You volunteered. Recognition is the only antidote. The moment you name this mechanism, it stops working. You feel the pull toward self-doubt and you say, this is the trap, not an argument. A trap designed to drain me without costing him anything. Your self-doubt is a precision instrument. It belongs to real challenges, not to fools. The man who knows where his uncertainty is safe, that man cannot be drained. But there is still one more way you are handing the fool a weapon without realizing it, and you are doing it every time you open your mouth to explain yourself. The 6th rule. Stop explaining yourself to people who are not equipped to receive the explanation. When you lay out your reasoning to a fool, you are not enlightening them. You are arming them. Every piece of your logic becomes ammunition for the next attack. They will misquote it, reframe it, and throw it back at you stripped of everything that made it coherent. A general does not publish his battle plan, not because he is arrogant, because it would be used against him. This does not mean you never explain yourself. It means you calibrate. You share your thinking with people capable of engaging with it honestly. Everyone else gets the conclusion. Without the architecture, here's what I have decided is a complete sentence. You do not owe the reasoning to anyone who cannot honor it. The man who withholds his logic from the unworthy is not cold. He is precise. 6 rules. Every one of them is about what to stop doing. The last one is different. It is about the final move, the one that makes all of this permanent. One more, and this one is the piece that makes everything else hold. The final thing intelligent men do differently is this. They stop trying to change fools, not because they have given up, because they understand time. Every minute spent trying to make a fool see reason is a minute stolen from something that actually responds to your effort. The fool does not improve because you engaged patiently. The fool remains the fool. You are the only one who changed, and not for the better. Machiavelli's entire framework rests on one foundation. See clearly, move efficiently, waste nothing. The lion does not argue with the fox. The fox does not fight the wolf head-on. Each deploys the right tool for the right situation. The right tool for a fool is not your intelligence. It is your indifference. Not hostility, not avoidance, indifference, the kind so complete it does not even register as a choice. You simply move around them, past them, without friction. The intelligent man does not defeat fools. He stops letting them be a problem worth solving. That is the distinction, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Think back to the beginning of this video. Someone said something wrong. You felt the pull. Now you know what that pull actually is. It is a power test. A test of whether your composure has a price. Whether you can be made to spend your most valuable resources, your time, your reasoning, your calm, on someone who cannot return anything. The answer from now on is no. Machiavelli said it plainly. Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. Let the fool see what he expects. Let him fight a shadow. You have already moved on before he finishes his sentence. That is the intelligent man. Not patient, not tolerant, untouchable. Drop untouchable in the comments if this landed. If this channel speaks to you, you know what to do.